So our next speaker is going to be Jordan. Hi.
Hi y'all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna talk or rap a little bit about being queer. Well, not actually rap. I wish I could rap. Being queer, being black, and just organizing in honestly some pretty cishet spaces. But yeah. So peace. My name is Jordan. I organize with the Behind the Walls Committee, a group of people who've been incarcerated or have family locked up. I also organize with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. We're working class people committed to achieving revolution within our lifetimes. I can't talk about queerness without talking about socialism, which is a vision of liberation I share with my comrades here and around the world. I also can't separate my queerness from my past, my family, or what our lives could have been together. I've had a complicated relationship with my dad since I was 6, and he was being reintroduced into my life. I cried a lot, I wouldn't fight anybody, I was pretty timid, and I looked to him to solve all my problems, what my mom had done for me up until that point. He always let me know I was too weak, too shy, too scared, I was startled easily. He told me all the time that all he was worried about was me being a man. I didn't really understand that I was non-binary until this past year when I was 24. A lot of it was because I was so focused on being the man that my dad wanted me to be. And then later, like some better version of a man, whatever that would look like. And I always kind of ignored what I wanted for myself, which was just like to be loved for who I am. My dad didn't fall from the sky, though. He was born into a historical circumstance, growing up in and attending the same Paterson, New Jersey high schools that revolutionary and Black Panther Assata Shakur described as falling apart in her open letter in 1988, when my dad was about 35. It's worth noting that the public schools in LA are also overfunded or underfunded and overpoliced, as they are in Paterson, as they are here in Providence. My dad moved away from New Jersey to Los Angeles to be an actor. All the fighting he never stopped talking about was something he'd actually lived on the streets of Paterson. He made it seem like he fought literally every day, that that's what boys did to become men, and maybe he did. So for me, violent ideas come from violent material realities. My dad believed that poor people were poor because of their attitudes and not because of a racist system that denies black people and queer people their basic needs like food, shelter, and a decent life without leisure time, or a decent life with leisure time where you don't have to work 50 plus hours to make ends meet or fight to survive. Yeah, my dad was an actor. I said it already, sorry. He played a gay cop on TV. He told the directors that he wouldn't play the role anymore unless his character found God and stopped being gay. So I was raised by a homophobic, hypermasculine, cop-playing dude. Someone both traumatized and unable to realize it. I guess I just wonder what it would have taken to make him a more caring person. For him to meet me where I'm at or to see me for who I am. And for me, it does always come back to food and shelter. Our ability to care for each other really is determined by whether our basic needs are met. And oftentimes by the violence of the society that we live in. So many of my black family members would be alive if medical care was a human right, if it was illegal for a boss or corporation to work people to the bone, if housing was guaranteed at a reasonable price, if people weren't locked up for stealing so that they could eat. The criminalization of poverty is oppressive, especially to the queer community. Youth grow up in homes with people who are scarred from lives that could have been so much easier if we were just guaranteed a few things. Capitalism is the system that convinces people competition is better than cooperation. Capitalism is the system that puts violence above love. I never met my uncle or my cousin or my grandfather on my dad's side because they all passed. They all died very young. My cousin was locked up for petty theft. My grandpa died from poisonous working conditions as an elevator mechanic. My dad was a child in the 60s when the average family was well off compared to today. He came of age in the 70s and 80s, taking in the propaganda of the war on drugs while his brothers struggled with them. falling prey to the rhetoric that said black people were lazy and responsible for inequalities they suffer. My queerness and the time it took me to realize it really has everything to do with my dad's bootstraps attitude. And I only see one solution to this problem. My black family faced every obstacle in trying to make dignified lives for themselves and their children. I believe my dad has a deep kindness to him, even though he's so cruel. I thought so much of him I didn't know who I was. Even after I hadn't seen or heard from him for 12 years, my gender was hidden in his shadow. There are so many possibilities. I want to fight for a world where my father grows up comfortably, is taught to love people, and then passes that on to me. Communism isn't a magic eraser. It can't undo the past. It won't make the future perfect. Being queer has been about coming to terms with who I am. It has been about learning radical histories, and it's been about finding who I am. And it's shown me that I can only find it with others and by trying to achieve liberation. I often think of this George Jackson quote: "Come together, understand the reality of our situation, understand that fascism is already here, that people are already dying who could be saved, that generations more will live poor, butchered, half lives if you fail to act. Do what must be done, discover your humanity and your love in revolution." So many queer idols are revolutionaries, as are my black ancestors. They all struggled from the moment they set foot here. Pride started as a riot against police. Sometimes it's alienating organizing as a non-binary person in a black body assigned male at birth. People's expectations of me are often violent. But I want a future where these same people respect my identity and also live a dignified life. And to do that, to honor myself and those I love, I try to organize, I try to struggle in the tradition of our black and queer ancestors. I just want to thank the organizers of today's vigil because the other side of the work is healing. And I hope you all take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Hey y'all, that was amazing. Can we just get another round of applause for that? Thank you.